We are currently tracking an active critical tier vulnerability, one that is mapped across the entire Apple hardware ecosystem. Assigned as CVE-2026-64769, this flaw carries a maximum severity CVSS version 3.1 base score of 9.8. This flaw allows an attacker to bypass standard memory isolation, exposing the system's memory perimeter to remote writes. The exposure footprint covers iOS, iPadOS, macOS, and tvOS, as well as visionOS. By exploiting this, a remote, completely unauthenticated attacker can force unexpected application terminations and disrupt core services. Because this vulnerability touches every endpoint in the Apple ecosystem, enterprise-wide mitigation is mandatory for operational survival. The threat profile began taking shape on July 27, 2026, when Apple issued the initial vendor disclosure and security advisories for 6 different software tracks. The following day, CISA ADP enriched the record, designating the potential technical impact as total and flattening the issue as fully automatable. Before we move to the full technical teardown of the exploit, we need to secure this communications link. Ensure you are subscribed to the channel with notifications enabled so you receive these threat intelligence briefings in real time. Hit the like button now. We treat this as your formal operational acknowledgement that you have received the intelligence. In a rapidly accelerating zero-day environment, maintaining a verified intelligence feed is the primary mechanism you have to stay ahead of active exploitation. This allocated memory buffer fails at bounds checking, a weakness known as CVE-2026-647. A remote attacker can feed manipulated data that pushes past the intended area, causing heap corruption. The rogue data breaches the boundary and overwrites arbitrary memory spaces. According to the CISA ADP scoring vector, pulling off this memory overwrite requires 0 privileges and 0 user interaction. This is a remote zero-click attack. The target user does not have to open a suspicious file or click a malicious link to be compromised. The immediate symptom of this memory destabilization is a denial of service, as the host application encounters corrupted data and terminates. While app crashes are the immediate result, the danger lies in the attacker using those out-of-bounds writes to quietly alter the application's internal behavior. CVE-2026-647 converts a basic data input error into a remote weapon capable of disabling or compromising enterprise software infrastructure. To defend against this, we need to map out the specific software versions that hold this open perimeter. This chart shows the exposed macOS tracks. The vulnerable versions include Sonoma prior to 14.8.8, Sequoia prior to 15.7.8, and Tahoe prior to 26.6. Enterprise fleets running macOS must run an audit to verify they have crossed these exact point release thresholds. For the mobile and alternative architecture tracks, this visualization shows a unified vulnerability threshold. iOS, iPadOS, tvOS, and visionOS are all vulnerable on versions prior to 26.6. The inclusion of visionOS and tvOS means that smart displays and headsets sitting in corporate conference rooms are just as exposed as a developer's laptop. Any device operating below these documented version numbers is currently hosting an open, exploitable memory perimeter. Because Apple's operating systems share core components, a single vulnerability grants an attacker a path for lateral movement across every form factor in your organization. The immediate mitigation mandate is to execute a comprehensive audit of all mobile device management platforms. Administrators must force push the updated target releases, specifically iOS 26.6 and macOS 15.7.8, to all network endpoints. Issuing the update command is only the first step. You must collect telemetry to confirm the actual installation and reboot of every device. Failing to achieve total patch saturation introduces the risk of regulatory compliance failure. Heap corruption enables the manipulation of sensitive data residing in memory, creating risks that extend to unauthorized data access. If unauthorized data access occurs, it violates the strict data protection and confidentiality requirements established under the GDPR. In healthcare environments, this mechanism could lead to the unauthorized exposure of protected health information, triggering heavy HIPAA penalties. Applying the update restores the integrity of these memory bounds, removing the technical foundation for these compliance liabilities. These point release patches serve as a critical legal and regulatory shield for the entire corporation. Analyzing the predictive threat landscape of this vulnerability helps us accurately understand the current timeline for our response. This chart displays the exploit prediction scoring system metric. The EPSS evaluation generated a score of 0.43, placing it at the 35.5th percentile for exploitation likelihood. Contrast this probability with current field data. As of the latest intelligence consolidation, CVE-2026-64769 is not listed in the CISA Known Exploited Vulnerabilities catalog. This absence from the KEV catalog is a temporary advantage, representing the quiet period before threat actors successfully weaponize the exploit code. Recall that the SSVC classification flagged this as fully automatable. Once a script is finalized, threat actors can scale their attacks globally in seconds. Organizations must deploy patches during this narrow window of time before the EPSS prediction becomes a reality in the KEV database. In modern cybersecurity, waiting for active exploitation to occur before executing an emergency patch cycle guarantees a system compromise. The core mandate of coordinated vulnerability disclosure is clear. Transparent intelligence sharing protects our collective perimeter. Sharing this intelligence across your security operations teams is just as vital as applying the patch itself. Maintain your vigilance, audit your endpoints, and secure the network. Stay secure.